should let me love you forever, forever. I wanna love you. Will you let me love you forever, forever and a day, 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 day.
We made it. Hey guys, welcome to TMW Online, the Melanated Way. I am Linda. That is Abby. We are, and
I
when
can't hear you, Linda. Is it me?
Oh, can you hear me now? Who can hear me? My volume is all the way up. Who can hear me? Okay, well, we're having some technical difficulties, apparently. Okay, well,
Okay, it must be me because I can hear you on my phone.
Yeah. Oh, and the live
chat on my laptop. So I'm gonna exit and come back.
All right. Hello, ladies. Spending my night while I plan my school year till the Decembers. Hey, Fizzies. Hey, Blue Panda. Abby's gonna go and come back, and so we are so behind. And you guys, life has been lifing, and it's been kicking my butt. But we are happy to be back talking all things the original OG 90 Day Fiance. We are on episode 8, so I know a lot of you guys are way ahead, but we're gonna catch up. We're good at catching up. And that being said, this show is outrageous. I mean, it's outrageous. And I get that the couples, a lot of them are staying together in real life. I see what's going on, but some of the things are just so crazy to me. So I'm going to just jump in. Edward and Marissa, you guys, do you believe that this couple is going to last? Because they're just so different. And I know that opposites attract, but there are a lot of just life experiences that I just think that if you're entering a marriage, you have to kind of be on the same page as you move forward as a unit. And so, when this episode opens up and Edward's trying to keep busy because, he can't work yet. She is back.
Yes, you hear me? Yes.
Excellent. Yes. I just started talking about Edward and Marissa and how he can't work and he's trying to keep himself busy. And I thought that that's a great place for you to jump in and talk a little bit about the immigration process and how really this is something that you guys commit to, right? So part of the process is, as the American citizen, you're going to have to take on the bills of a whole grown person. And you have to be okay with that because that's part of it before you start resenting them. And him trying to fix the fence and the fence is not good enough. And then she's irritated because she feels like she has a third child and the gate looks ghetto and all of that. But you knew what you were signing up for. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, Abby?
This is the other reason why I prefer the spousal visa to the fiance visa, because when you arrive with a spousal visa, you arrive as a resident. You arrive with the ability to work, with the ability to get a driver's license. And so you have a lot more freedom and flexibility. But when you arrive on a K visa, the fiance visa, you are not in a status that allows you to go and be independent. You are completely dependent on your petitioner for everything, to get to the grocery store, to get to the bank, to have any spending money, to go out to eat, to be a tourist. Like, for everything, you're dependent on them. And for a lot of people, this is very, very difficult part of the relationship. If you've had a life of being independent and doing things on your own, this is a very hard thing to adjust to. And it also increases the potential for abuse.
So your recommendation is a spousal over a K1?
Yes, a lot of people don't like to do the spousal visa first because it requires you to get married in the other place, and people sometimes want to be able to get married here in the US. But if you get married in the other country or a third country, then you can do the spousal petition. And I think that puts the couple on much better footing to go forward. and it keeps my women who are immigrants from being so vulnerable to abuse when they arrive. So that's the one that I prefer.
Makes sense. Faisy says that fence gate looked awful and broken down before Edward even got there. I will say this, considering how much she showed the house and the pride in her house and everything had to be in its own place, I was actually surprised that that gate looked super run down as well. Like it looked like it needed new wood, Abby. It needed new wood. I was gonna say it needed a new coat of that glaze that you put on the fence, but it just needed to be a new fence. So physique.
Right.
But Marissa says she's excited to be together. But she feels that she's taking on another child. And again, Marissa, you knew what you were getting into before you got into it, and this is what you decided to do. And Abby and I talk about vacay bay, and being in a relationship when you're only on vacation, it's a completely different situation than real life. And we talk about this extensively, right? You should leave your vacay bay on the holiday, but if you insist and that's your person, you do have to spend time in their environment and them in your environment to make sure that it's a match.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pluck out your vacay bay and pop them in your life and think that everything is going to be okie dokie and smooth sailing, because it's not. Because you guys haven't spent real time together. You haven't spent the downtime together. You haven't paid bills together. You haven't gone grocery shopping together. So it's a reality check. And then just to piggyback off of what Abby just said, and then you have to pay all the bills until your significant other can work. That is a lot of pressure, but you also have to signed up for. So her complaining that, it's like having another child, I really just feel like as a businesswoman, this is something that she should have thought about. She continues to go on to say that she wants Edward to be a man and to do things on his own. Again, there's 63 days to get married, so he's approximately been there for a month. I haven't seen Abby take a day and show him the neighborhood, maybe show him where the bus stops are, maybe show him, there's not going to be a lot of people from his culture, but maybe show him, a cultural center, the library, things that he can do that he can get around, and so that he can start to acclimate himself to Pennsylvania. I haven't seen her do that.
I haven't either. There have been very few people on 90 Day Fiance that we've actually seen do that. They're just like, I'm gonna have to go back to work in a week or so. So let me go give you the lay of the land so you can be exploring while I'm out. And we haven't seen a lot of people take the time to do that with their partners.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you should want to set that person up for success, especially if they're complaining that you're doing all the things for them. Well, considering they don't know the country, and especially Edward, who has never traveled in his life, these are some of the things that you might want to think about so that your partner is up for success. It's different than, like, I'll give Abby for an example. Abby travels a lot. She travels solo a lot. So she can maneuver. She can go plop herself in city A, not knowing it, and maneuver. People who travel, that's why I encourage you guys to travel. People who travel a lot are more comfortable maneuvering in a situation that they've never been in versus someone who has not traveled. And now can you imagine you haven't traveled ever, and then now you're in a whole new country, a whole new culture, and you don't know anything about anything? I'm just saying, I'm putting it out there. They're talking more about the fence. I'm going to wrap the fence up because I just thought it was a stupid thing and it wasn't something that was like an homage to anything. Basically, Marissa hated the fixture that he did, and he used some molding from her living room. She thought it looked really ghetto, but the fence looked ghetto as it was, so it just looked more ghetto. And she was really concerned about what her neighbors would say as they drive by. Well, your neighbors have already been talking about your moldy-ass fence, Marissa. Your fence did not look pristine, so you caring even more about what your neighbors think is kind of crazy to me. And it was also crazy to Edward. Edward's like, well, I don't care what your neighbors think because they're not paying the bills. That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair. Instead, she said, just clean this up and say, yes, honey. And so my thought was, you can't have it both ways. If you want a yes, honey, do what I say, honey, stay at home, husband, honey, then say that. But then you can't just under your breath be like, I feel like I have a third child and I want him to be more independent and be more of a man. Like, which one is it? Because that was confusing to me. Your thoughts?
I mean, the same. Either you want somebody with initiative and you can accept the way that they do things, or you want somebody who's just only going to do exactly what you instruct them to do. And then you're going to be exhausted because I have to give them instructions every single time. So, no, you can't have it both ways. And that
Mm-hmm.
fence was already ugly. She should have just said, you know what? The reason why I hadn't touched the fence was because I wanted it prepared like professionally. And so I really appreciate you trying. Tomorrow, can you just can you call a couple of fence people and get some prices? We can get the ball rolling on getting this done professionally.
That part. See how easy that was? Easy breezy. Beautiful cover girl. So they're taking a road trip to New York City. And when I say, you guys, I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. You're going to get a Dominican in New York City and you're going to leave him on his own. Okay, Molly and Luis, I'll see you later. So yeah, they're taking a road trip to New York City. His thoughts are in this last month, he's really seen a different side of Marissa. Of course you have, because you have only seen her when she was on holiday. So you're now seeing her in her environment, and then you're also now going to see her in her work environment, which is going to be another side of her, right? So they're driving there, and I mean, Edward, I'm not sure what you were thinking. I kind of feel like I do, but I'm hoping that that's not true. But Marissa asked, do you have your wallet? Do you have some money? I'm going to be working. You need to be on your own and figure it out and pay for your own things. Do you have a credit card? And he has none of those things. And he doesn't have his ID. Abby, make it make sense to me, because how do you leave your house with nothing? Like, I get it. We all have our phones now, right? And so our phones have everything. You can have your ID on your phone, your credit cards on your phone, your debit cards, all the things right here, right? So maybe you don't have a wallet. That would make sense to me. But knowing that he doesn't have any of those things because he's never traveled, he's like, old school, like me with my notes with the paper. He needs the paper. How did you, hello, I don't want to make this political, but you're in America, and you know what they're doing with these agents all over the place, and you don't even have your ID. You have no dollars, $0 and 0 cents, and you're going to go to New York City. What? Abby,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, I know. I'm very confused about what was happening there. He said he was just excited and he forgot. So
You forgot your ID and money?
maybe she's just harassed him so much that he just can't even think anymore. Girl, I don't know. I don't know what is going on, because my dad and my mom always said you keep your ID on you and a clean pair of underwear.
You forgot your ID? I mean, I
don't know what that was about.
You don't need your ID in the Dominican? You don't need a few dollars in your pocket in the Dominican?
That's a really good question. I've never lived in the Dominican. Is it common to carry your ID on you there? Or is that a little bit more of a North American Western thing that you need to have your ID on you at all times?
Someone needs to tell us immediately, if not sooner, because it just sounds stupid. What it sounds like that he thought, I think he probably has his ID. I think he thought she was going to give him some pocket change and send him on his way like her third child. That's what I think.
Oh, okay. You think that's what's happened? That he wasn't supposed to use the money that she already gave him, but it was going to be new money?
New money for his New York City day trip. Yes. That's
okay.
That's what
That's
I think it is.
interesting.
And he's saving face by saying, I was so excited, instead of saying, oh, I thought you were going to give me some money. Because guess what? She's going to have to give him some money. She's not. Listen, New York City, you literally walk out of your door and you've already spent $100. So I'm not sure is he's going to roam the streets for 8 hours, leaving her, well, not her office, but her store, and just walk around for 8 hours. You're going to want to eat something. You're going to want to drink something. The subway is not free. Okay. Food is not free. Even if it's $100. Trust me. At bare minimum. And that's with you going back and not have purchased anything but maybe a little food and drink. So crazy. Hey, Silver Linings. She says, I switched purses and oopsie, ideas in my clutch from last night. You know, that's understandable, but that's not what's happening here. Marissa wants him to figure out how to be self-sufficient. And he basically says for her to calm down. So she's annoyed that he is not prepared for his day, which is a metaphor for the relationship. And she feels like, you know, maybe I need to rethink this. Again, you probably should have thought of that before you brought him over to America and said, this is my fiance and I'm going to marry him in 90 days. Those are all conversations that I feel should have probably happened pre him picking up his life and coming to live with you. Do you want to add anything before I move on?
No, let's move on.
Katie and Josh, I can't take it. Katie, I can't take it. I can't take it. You're an alcoholic, and I don't know enough about OCD, but because I'm watching you constantly do all the things, I'm literally going to research it, because whatever is happening here is just not okay with me. As well, Josh, like, I'm sorry to say this. Oh, I just popped out my earring because I was too excited. Oh, did I? Yeah, I did. Josh, stop being a simp. I know that sounds really mean of me, but like, you need to stand up for yourself. Your literal fiance is disrespecting you in your face all the time, and you just want to be like, oh, well, it's just the British way. I have a ton of British friends, and that is just absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. Do you want to say something before I just go off on a tangent?
I do want to talk about the OCD a little bit. This might be a part of what you're planning on having a tangent about. But Katie recently made a statement on her Instagram because 2 different large OCD organizations came out and said that her behavior is not indicative of OCD. And she responded to one of them that she had sought treatment with in the past. So they didn't say they treated her. She exposed herself as having treated with that organization and said that it was, mean, despicable, hurtful, untrue for them to have an opinion on her based off of the TV show. So I just wanted to talk about that for a second. If you are going on a TV show and you're representing yourself to have a particular illness or disease, whatever that illness or disease is, should you be shrouded from organizations commenting on that illness or disease?
I think that if it's a random organization that has nothing to do with you, that is representative of whatever that illness you have is, and they were talking about it generically, then I think that's okay. If it's an organization that you have actually gone to and been treated at, then I think it's absolutely not okay. I think it's not okay because I think that, I mean, I don't know if it's like a HIPAA type situation, but I do think that you're invading her privacy in order to get exposure and publicity for your organization. And I think you're doing it in the wrong way. So if that organization indeed treated her, then shame on them. That's how I feel. Silver Lining says, nutshell, OCD has intrusive, unwanted thoughts. She wants to make out with randos, ... So those are drunk actions or sober thoughts.
Sober intrusive thoughts or sober she wants it thoughts?
Fizzy's talking about leaving vacay bay on vacay. She says, don't bring home live souvenirs.
Or you guys, if you're dating someone, just like general advice, if you're dating someone who's out of the country and you're thinking about going through the K visa process, I am begging you to go with them on a trip to another country. Or if you're in a big country, go on a trip to another city. Okay? Just experience what it's like to be with that person when somebody else has to do some planning and logistics and you're not just laid up in the bed all day. Okay?
Listen, there's this video and I'm going to repost it. I know I keep threatening to come back to Instagram for the Melanated Way page, and eventually I'll get there. But there's this video that I saw, you guys, and it was so funny. The guy basically said, there are 3 shows that are like a sickness. Oh my God, you guys, it's so good. Basically, he's saying that 90 Day Fiance is like a sickness. All of us that watch it is sickness, and the people on the show have a sickness. And he basically said, what makes some American think that like a 10 in any other country is going to want to be with them when they can't even pull a 10 in America? And the way he said it, it just made so much sense. I'm going to repost it because it's actually really funny. So when they get like an Angela and a Michael, I'm not saying Michael's a 10, but like that situation, like if you can't get a Michael in America, why are you mad about how things are happening when you go to a whole other country and you try to be a passport princess and then it doesn't work out for you? Like, are you surprised? I never thought of it that way, but it was very good. And I'm going to repost it because it's really funny. That being said, yeah, Katie is getting on my nerves. Josh is also getting on my nerves. They're outside talking to Mike. Remember, they're doing the confrontation thing because Mike thinks his relationship with Katie is a little bit more than it is, which I think that we all know that it is. She literally says, oh, well, I feel like I'm the problem. And Josh, instead of saying, yes, you are the problem, says, well, I think it's 50-50. You and Mike are the problem, and you guys need to sort it out, and you guys need to stop doing whatever it is you're doing and have boundaries. And, you know, he doesn't even really understand why Mike is in their lives. He thought that it was going to end on the trip. Well, this is where you should say, I don't like this. I'm not comfortable with this. And here's why. My fiance is still attracted to you and she's trying to be with you. And I feel like we need to put some boundaries in. Like, why are you not saying those things? And why are you blaming the dude? The dude's just being a dude. That girl, Katie, is coming on to him. And I'll tell you, most guys, if a woman's coming on to him, they're not going to be like, oh, no, no, no. They're going to be like, bring it. So why do you say that? It's very confusing to me. It's very confusing. And it makes me mad. So Mike goes on to say, well, I don't know what your us is because Katie's never represented it as an us. She just represented it as a me, which again, Josh is showing you exactly what she thinks of you.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike is just hearing that you guys are an us and this is now you guys are fiance because that's not how Katie's representing this relationship. So Mike apologizes and said, you know, I didn't know that you guys were a thing. I didn't know this was serious. So I apologize. But as he's apologizing, he's looking at Katie to see her response. And guess what? Katie's just standing there, not like agreeing with Josh, not enforcing what Josh is saying. She's just standing there. And Faizy says if Katie was a dude, she would have charges by now 150%. 150%. Her actions are outrageous, and I'm tired of her being a drunk ass and then blaming it on OCD. I'm tired of it.
I'm a little bit confused by the fact that she has friends. If she's just walking around assaulting multiple friends at every get together, how does she keep getting invited? How does she even have friends? This is very bizarre to me.
Well, because they're dudes. 99.9% of her friends are guys. And like I just said, a guy is not going to, if a woman is like, hey, let's be all sloppy and I'm going to kiss on you and I can take you home and have a one night stand. What guy do you know, Abby, that's going to say, oh no, let's not do that. oh no, that's
I
a
mean,
bad idea.
I understand the first
But
time.
just think about it in the whole scheme of things. That's it. Exactly. Silver Lining says those friends are dudes waiting their turn. That's what it is.
Ugh. Ugh.
That's what it is. Think
Ugh.
about it. Think about it from a guy's perspective. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but you're asking why they keep showing up for that simple reason.
Ugh.
So Mike apologizes, and at the end of the conversation, they basically all say, okay, we're going to be quote unquote chill friends. Everyone's just going to be chill friends, which means nothing. And she goes back inside, and it's like she never had a conversation about anything, because she goes back outside and she's like, who can I make out with? That's what she says to her whole room of male friends. Who can I make out with? And her friend Mark is like, are you ready to get married? And she's like, I think so. No, friend, you're not. Hey, Life with London. Hey. No, you're not. I'm not even sure if you're ready to be a proper adult right now. I think that you need to go into treatment, whether that is for your OCD or for your alcoholism or for both. But that's what I think you need. I think you need to go to treatment. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. So she gets in. She's like, who can I make out with? No one responds. So she asks again if she can kiss anyone. And she tries to kiss this one random guy. He says no. Okay. She goes back to Mike, sits down in a booth with Mike, and she tries to make out with him as well. Now, all of this is in front of Josh. Josh is seeing this, so he gets a little upset. He goes outside and says, this is so unserious and pointless. Okay, but when do you stand up for yourself? When do you say enough of the disrespect? When does that happen? Because listen, y'all, it couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. It couldn't be me. It just makes no sense. If my partner said, hey, who do I get to make out with in a room full of my quote unquote friends? Oh, yeah, make out with whoever you want. But guess what? It's the last time you'll be seeing me.
Yeah. Katie is wrong, but we do need to start asking ourselves, does Josh have low self-esteem? Because she's making out with people in your face. She told you she wasn't actually ready. You're the one who did all the paperwork for the K visa, not her. So what is it, Josh, that's making you push this? What makes you think that you should be subject to this kind of treatment? What's going on with you, Josh?
100%. 100%. I agree with that 100%. She also told you that she was not ready to get married, and you still forced the issue anyways. So I'm not excusing her behavior, because I am sick of it. But if she's acting exactly like a single crazy random, are you surprised? She literally told you that she wasn't ready to get married. So he goes outside. Josh goes outside all angry. Her friend Mark comes out to talk to him and says, I understand that you're trying to be patient and tolerant. And, Josh says he's hoping Katie's the person he thinks she is. And Mark says, if it was me, I'd be furious. And it's okay to be mad, Josh. It's okay to be mad. And it's okay to stand up for yourself and say that you're mad. And I thought that was great advice, because instead Josh says, oh, well, it's hard to differentiate between her OCD and her being dramatic. By dramatic, you mean drunk, right? Right, Josh? Because this isn't being dramatic. It's her being extra drunk.
Yeah.
They go back inside, and guess what? She tries to make out with Mark too, and Mark literally puts his hand in her face, and she's like licking his hand and kissing his hand. And I just think it's a problem. I think it's you're assaulting your friends. And like Fizzy said, if it was a man, someone would be going to jail.
Also, you're disgusting because men don't wash their hands.
That part.
Ugh.
Yuck. Do you want to add anything else for them?
No, let's go.
Receipt and Mallory. Oh God. Okay. Dear American friends, as an immigrant myself, and a child of immigrants, I think that maybe how we grew up is just a little bit different, and any immigrant child will tell you that cleanliness is next to godliness, and we grew up cleaning. It was like just part of growing up. You clean and you bathe and you take your shoes off in the house and you do your dishes, all that stuff. And Receipt is no different. So Receipt and Mallory fight a lot about daily cleaning. She feels like in his culture, they clean daily. I feel like in life, you should clean daily, but that's just, again, an immigrant mentality. She says, well, I'm just messy. And when I heard her say that she leaves the dishes in the sink for 6 days, that's why you just can't eat at anybody's house, friends. You just can't do it. The nastiness that goes, like, what are you all doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's not messy. That's disgusting.
Ew.
Because it starts to stink after just like 3 days. So after that, you're just ignoring the funk.
And then you have like 10 dogs in the house, and you're like, come on now. To me, that means you don't wash your sheets often. If your dishes are in the sink for 6 days, I mean, when you're washing it, is that grime coming off?
So are you just cooking on top of dirty dishes?
Oh, God. There it is. Okay. They're going bidet shopping, and Mallory wants Receipt to know like that's not common in the US. And I was like, I don't think it is. I don't think Americans talk bidets. Do y'all?
I think it's becoming more common. Or maybe, okay, so maybe what's happening is that because I'm in more immigrant spaces that I'm seeing bidets more, because the last couple of places that I've worked at were all, the partners in the firm were all immigrants from different places. They're US citizens now, but they all came from, so all of our bathrooms at work were fitted with bidets. So for me, it is becoming more common to see it, but that might be because of where I am.
Okay. Receipt wants a bidet. And, I think that making him feel comfortable is important, but I'm not sure if that should be at the top of the list. But that's just, again, my opinion. Because it can't work. So while you're shopping, are you also showing him the places that he can go to on a regular basis? Or is he just going to have the bidet and be sitting on the bidet all day? So after they had that white trashed bash party, life has been tense because of the Brandon situation. Mallory says, but Mallory, it's only tense because you haven't addressed it and you haven't been honest with your fiance. Have a conversation. Wherever you land with the Brandon situation, you have to be open and honest. And while you're at it, I need you to tell him how you feel about having babies, because that's not fair either. Okay. Moving on to the Starbucks breakfast. So they're on their way to the bidet place, and she's having a Starbucks coffee and their breakfast sandwich, which is, I'm assuming, a sausage and egg sandwich. She thinks this is funny. I just think it's ignorant, and also was offended. So he goes to take a bite of her sandwich. Instead of saying, hey, babe, don't have that sausage. You don't eat sausage. You're Muslim. She lets him bite it, and then she starts laughing, and then tells him after, you can't eat that. It's pork. So he spits it out, and that could be traumatic for someone who has never eaten pork in their life, and you let them, I just didn't think it was funny, Abby. I just didn't think it was funny. And that's your fiance. Oh, cool. Do you want to take this? It's from your page. Hello, greetings from Australia. What time is it where you are?
Hey there. So where I am, it is 10:40. I'm on the East Coast. And where Linda is, she is on the West Coast. What is it for you? 7:40?
7:40 p.m.
Yeah, 7:40 p.m. So hello. I actually my first visit to Austria was last year. And what I learned is that if you wrap something in cabbage and you cook it, it bangs.
Oh,
That's some really good food.
I did say Australia by accident. Austria. I read it wrong.
Oh.
Hello, greetings to you in Austria. Excellent. Okay, so I didn't think it was funny. As they're driving past the area where Mallory had her accident a year ago. And I know that has to be super traumatic for her. She hasn't been back since. They got hit head on by a distracted driver. She was hospitalized for a week. She had to get 3 feet of her intestines removed. And so this is like a very traumatic time for her to be in the spot that happened. And I've been in a car accident, and I know that that's a real fear, right? That's a real trauma, because you literally relive the moment. And so she shows them the area, and they just have a really powerful moment, in my opinion, where he talks about how he could have lost her, and because he could not have come over yet because he didn't have the visa, that was hard for him to just be afar, and knowing that his loved one is so critically injured and he couldn't do anything, and then for her to not be able to be loved on by the person that she loves because he couldn't be there yet. There was just a lot of layers. Do you want to add anything to that, Abby?
No, I mean, well, yes, you guys, just just focus on driving. The phone will be there when you get to your destination. You can text whomever you need to text. You don't need to be distracted by the phone. We have a rise in accidents that are occurring because of people being distracted, or even just like walking on the street, people are distracted, or people riding those scooters and trying to do things on their phone while they're on the e-bikes and the scooters. Let's just take care and have concern for our neighbors and not do those things while we're operating vehicles.
Agreed. 100%. Agreed 100%. Be aware. There's too much going on around you for you to be distracted. So I was right. He was from Australia.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, Austria. I don't know what's happening. No, Australia. Aim from Austria.
Guten Tag. Well, I don't know what time it is over there, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm messing it up.
Guten morning.
Good morning. Okay, so they both get teary-eyed because what if she had died? He would have been very sad. He's like, he doesn't want to marry anyone else. That's his person. And I thought that was a really sweet moment as well. And then, everything that goes against what Abby just said about safe driving and being in your car and buckling it up and all the stuff. He puts on a little music. He takes his seatbelt off and he's twerking in the car as it is moving down the road. I thought that was just such a juxtaposition to what we just talked about. It just was really weird. You just had this whole moment, how she could have died. She was in the hospital. I don't know. I might be overthinking.
I don't know. I understand that he was trying to loosen her up and, just change the vibe, but that wasn't the way, in my opinion.
No. You literally just said that you could have lost her and she could have died. And then now you're okay. The other issue that they have because they don't communicate is money, and they're not seeing money the same way. And of course, you're not seeing money the same way because you guys haven't have a conversation about money. How you guys, I'm just really trying to be on my best behavior and trying not to give you guys a TED talk all the time, but like, how are you engaged and you haven't talked about babies and you haven't talked about money? What are y'all doing? What are you doing? So they don't see eye to eye because they haven't talked about it. So they're looking at these bidets. First one costs $1,100. It's very fancy, cold water, hot water, massaging water. It's a whole thing. She's like, ooh, that's a little pricey. They go down to the second one. The second one is $800. Does very similar stuff. It's literally turning on receipt, like turning him on, which I thought was super weird, and they should have explored that a little bit more. The sales lady says, hey, we have a functioning bidet in our showroom. So she shows him, he goes to use it. And another weird thing I thought, Mallory goes in with them for him to try it. And I mean, you guys can be close. I mean, that's going to be your husband. You're going to see and do all the things anyways. But like, you guys can be close and do that, but you can't talk about babies and money. It's very confusing to me. It's very confusing to me. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. It's very confusing.
It's very confusing to me that they didn't explore a portable bidet before buying a whole new toilet. But what do I know?
I mean, also, Abby, talk about having a baby. I don't care about a portable bidet. A whole baby. Okay. She is saying that this is not a priority. The bidet is not a priority. And in this one specific moment, I agree with her. I think that you need to prioritize the fact that you don't want to have a baby, and he does. I think that you should prioritize the fact that there's a whole money conversation that you have not had. I think that you guys need to prioritize the fact that you have some racist friends, and what is that going to look like for your future? I think that I mean, there's so many things that I think that could be priorities over your bidet. So I agree with you in this specific moment. So he then has the audacity to say that she can use her accident money. So we find out in this little clip that she got some money from the insurance, but she's put it in a brokerage account because she knows herself that she would spend that money. So she doesn't have easy access to it, which I think is a great idea. I think more people should be thinking about when they get large sums of money and you're not used to having large sums of money, to get a financial advisor to sort that through you, because oftentimes people burn through money that you shouldn't burn through. You could live off of it for the rest of your life if you invest it properly. And
Yes.
so especially people like this who have like insurance money, or you're one of the lucky 1 in a billion who wins the lottery, any large sums of money that you're not used to having, I encourage you, get an expert involved so that you can always have that money. Because just like this, people who have no claim to your money are going to try to claim your money. You're going to have people coming out of the woodworks, spending money that doesn't even belong to them. And just like this, receipts like use your money because now he thinks she's rich. Which also, Abby, now that I hear him say this, how he's trying to spend her insurance money to the accident that she almost died in, it makes sense going back to when she went to pick him up and he wanted her to pay for his entire family and their upkeep. Now it makes sense because you think she's rich, and also the stereotype that all Americans are rich plays into it. So she
Right.
told him that she got a lump sum of money, which by the way, don't do that. I don't care who it is, don't do that. until that ring is on your finger and that is your husband, and
Maybe not even then.
I was gonna say that.
Maybe not even then. Maybe you always have your own little escape account. And before I forget, I also wanted to say, if you don't have the kind of money that you want to put into a brokerage account, you can put money away into a high yield savings, or, some other kind of companies have where it's a 3-day delay. So anytime you want to withdraw money from that account, there's a delay that will prevent you from impulse spending. But yeah, maybe you don't ever tell anybody about those a windfall like that.
That part. Be wise, you guys. Be wise. Because, people are wild out there. And these streets are hard streets. And so don't put yourself in that position. I watched a true crime. Basically, the guy was homeless, went and bought a lottery ticket, won $10 million, changed his whole life. He told everyone, and he was giving money to everyone. This lady came and pulled a scam on him, said she was a financial advisor, took all his money, spent all his money. He was living a life of luxury. And then when he was caught on and confronted her, she killed him and buried him in the new house that she bought under the concrete with the money that she stole from him. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just be careful.
So in summary, don't tell anybody when you win a lump sum of money, and don't take anybody to the bidet store if you have no intent on buying a bidet.
There, that's it. That's the moral of the story. He then goes on, I just want to say one last thing. He then goes on to say that he left his country for her. And so basically she needs to buy him anything and everything. Do you want to add anything else before I move on to Maxwell? And I don't know, is it Aisha? They call her all the different things, and I'm just trying to figure it out. They were calling her Aisha today.
They call her all kind of stuff, so I'm just going to keep calling her Aisha.
Okay, so Maxwell and Aisha. What are your overall thoughts on this before I start talking about them? Because
I have a hard time with Aisha because of the religious stuff, but when I'm trying my best to evaluate who she is apart from the extreme religious stuff, there are things that I appreciate about her personality. And
like what? Like what?
I appreciate that she is excited to explore Nigeria, that she recognizes the intricacies of the clothing, and that she's excited to be immersed in it, but I have a hard time with her only goals in life seeming to be, as far as we can see on the show, just to be married, even just to make that person and the person you want to marry, as opposed to meeting someone that you enjoy to force this person to be molded into what you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
I think that she manipulates. As a Christian, I just don't appreciate the manipulation of Christianity. I think she manipulates it and uses it as a tool to get what she wants. And that's just not in line with my beliefs of what Christianity is about. And I think that having an international platform where people are already timid and upset and mad at religion in general, I just think it's very irresponsible, because this is where people are like, well, this is why, and this is because, and no, this is just one woman manipulating her faith in order to get what she wants. And people do that in all aspects of life. And I just think it's unfortunate that that's what's happening. And that is my opinion. So they're going to the market, and they're getting ready to go to the market. And it's a whole thing about whether his family's going to accept her. And if they don't, what then happens? And she talks a lot about his clothing, you guys, and how he dresses, and his skin and his nails and everything about him she's trying to change. And they talk a little bit about this blue suit, and he's been watching TV, and so anytime an American comes over anywhere, they make the immigrant wear the most cultural outfit and also have flowers. And I laugh because that is exactly what the show does. That is so true. And I didn't think about it until he said it out loud. And so she said that where she's from, and she's from the South somewhere, I can't remember, but they would say it was quote unquote real country. And Abby, I wanted you to talk about a little bit. That's like a bad thing, right?
I don't. She's saying it as if it's a bad thing, but those of us who are country, because my family's country, we don't particularly care about being called country.
Oh,
It's just, yeah, it's a rural, it's not redneck, it's not the same thing. Country is where I'll give you an example. You know, I used to say when I was younger that we're just Southern. We're not country, we're Southern, right? But then we were in a store waiting to check out, and I looked behind me. My sister was standing behind me, and she had a business card that she was using to pick her teeth. She had folded the corners of this business card and was just picking gunk out of her teeth. And I said, "Oh God, we are country."
that is definitely something. Okay. Maxwell thinks that Aisha has really bossy behavior, and he's trying to explain to her the expectations culturally from his family. And it's really about, for him, peace, love, and respect as a behavior versus I hate to say this, and please y'all don't take it the wrong way, but oftentimes, and Aisha's doing a pretty good job of being an American tourist outside of America, but some of you guys do not know how to act. You think that you're bringing America with you, and the American behavior and that country and their culture has to mold to your American standards and behavior, and that's not how it works.
Yeah.
It works. So, if he's saying, these are my family expectations on behavior, maybe just honor that at least while you're there as a sign of respect. Just a thought. He goes on to tell her that, yeah, you need to be respectful in order for my family to accept you. Right now, the family is upset from the dinner before how she's trying to change everything about him. And this is where I just couldn't, this is like red flag to me, number one. When she said, Abby, that she felt like they were attacking her. They were attacking you. So you're now the victim. They were attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
None of that happened.
Attack is a very strong word to me.
It's a strong word, period. So they're giving you feedback on the fact that you're trying to completely change their loved one and you're being attacked. She feels like it's just suggestions. She's trying to make him look better. Well, no, honey, you're trying to make him into the man that you want him to be instead of the man that he is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I get a little nip and tuck and a little exfoliation and whatever laser thing and hair, whatever. I get all of that. do whatever you want to do to better yourself, to make yourself feel beautiful, but make sure that that's what he wants.
Mm-hmm. And if he didn't bring it up, if it's not a problem for him, then you shouldn't bring it up and cause some kind of insecurity in him. If his skin is not bothering him, his acne is not bothering him, don't bring it up and make it an insecurity.
That part. 100%. So he goes on to explain to her how to address the elders, which is a real thing, you guys, in Africa, is addressing your elders with respect. It's a huge thing. So when he's explaining not to say, hey, mom, but to say, you know, good morning, ma'am, or good morning, miss, or just using proper manners, it really is a huge thing. And they won't say it to your face, but your significant, like, he won't hear the end of it. And not only will he hear the end of it, the whole extended family is going to hear about how the significant other has no manners. And then it will trickle back. I promise you. I promise you.
I was actually surprised that she went in with a hey, because that's not proper either. That's not proper here. So I was surprised that she even tried to start off that way.
And especially her being a Southern girl. Where's the Southern hospitality in that?
Yeah.
So Maria, Maxwell's mom, is speechless culturally. She talks about, and it is true, African culture is still very male-centered, very, very male-centered, very, very conservative. And so the mom talks about the woman being submissive and obeying the man, whether he has money or not, whether he's tall or short, however he dresses. Her words, you must, as a woman, always obey. And that is all I have to say about that.
Is she describing the way that things are, or is she describing describing the way they should remain? That was my question for her. Is she, I wasn't sure if she's talking about, will Asia fit in to a culture that's designed this way, or is she saying it will forever stay this way and it should stay this way and she's going to have difficulty conforming? I wasn't sure.
She's saying both of those things. She's saying both of those things.
That's interesting. You know, it shouldn't surprise me, but somehow it always surprises me when women are the purveyors of patriarchy.
Yeah.
Because how has that benefited her in her life? You cannot sit here and tell me that she's benefited in her life by being submissive.
But she doesn't know any differently, right? She doesn't know any differently at all. That's all she knows. I mean, we can talk about, oh God, there's just so much, like what's going on in Afghan culture and the women and the rights that they've lost. You know, they've seen it differently, and now what? So I don't know. I'm speechless. The mom is speechless. I'm speechless. And that says a lot, because my mom does say I talk too much. So Maxwell and Asia are in the market, which is my favorite place to go. If you guys ever go anywhere in Africa, make sure you go to the market. The street markets, they will change your life. They will change your life. They're the best. You'll get the best things, the most unique things. Everything's handmade, so beautifully, culturally, like, oh, so yummy. I was going to pull out some of the stuff that I have, because it's just so amazing. I'll show you one thing because I see it right here. Hold up. So this is like a two-piece. My mom got made for me, and it's one of my favorites. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
It's just really culturally amazing and dense, thick fabric. It just holds itself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kente cloth. And what they do is they just literally, they look at you, they take your size, and I mean, Abby's familiar with this, and then they literally, you tell them what you want, and they literally make it. No pattern, no anything. They just cut it up and make it. So maybe one day I'll wear one of these things for you guys to see, but it's really cute.
It looks really pretty.
So pretty. But those are the type of things that you get in the market. So they're at the market, and I just want to say this, and it's going to sound super ignorant of me, but I just think that they need to put the closed captions for her too. They put it for him, and I get it because the accent, but she has an accent too. And for people that are not from the South, some of the things she's saying, like, it took me longer because I had to keep rewinding to, like, what did you just say? What are you saying? What does that even mean? Closed caption for her as well. That was a side note. But as they're going through the market and they're talking, he's explaining himself on how he feels about her behavior, her attitude, what needs to happen, whether they should get married or not. And she feels like he's being influenced by his family. And she says to him, you know, am I dating you and your family? And he said, yes, you are. And yes, you are. Y'all, whoever you choose to be your partner, just know it's your partner and their whole entire family. You are marrying into the whole family, and you need to be okay with that. It's not going to just be you and your partner in a bubble, because that's not how it's going to be. So yes, you are. You're marrying the whole family. Take that into consideration when you make your choices. And so so this is another part where I just feel like she manipulates Christianity. So she then tells him, when he says, yes, you're marrying to me and the family, she says that's not biblical. And Aisha, if you ever see this, I would just like you to show me and tell me what part in the Bible, down to the specific passage and verse, that it says that in the Bible, because I would like to know. I would like to see what you're reading that it says that in the Bible.
I think I know what she's talking about.
Okay, tell me.
I had an argument with my ex-in-laws over this particular Bible verse, so it may be the same one, maybe not. But there's a verse that talks about you leave your family and cleave to your wife. You leave your family and cleave to your husband.
I know that passage.
Yeah, so we got into an argument because I had shared something with my parents that she didn't think that I should have shared, because I should leave my parents and cleave to my husband. So maybe that's what Aisha's talking about, but
maybe
not. I'm not,
but maybe
not in that world anymore, so I don't know. But she also,
but maybe go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but she also does have a history of just saying whatever suits her. So I wouldn't be surprised if she said that. But even if it's not biblically true, it doesn't matter at this point. It's culturally true. It's culturally true. It's basically like the easiest way I can explain it to you Americans who don't understand is that there's one set of behaviors that is appropriate for your spouse, and there's a second set of behaviors that's appropriate for your spouse's family. And you keep on trying to be American everywhere you go, and you don't get to be that way anymore. You have to split yourself the same way that immigrant child splits themselves. Unless they've rejected their own culture, then that's the way your life exists now. You're one person with your spouse, and you're a different person with your spouse's family, the same way that they are.
Oh, yes. She's Silver Lining saying the same thing. She's probably referring to leave family and cleave to your wife. Yeah, but I just don't interpret that passage that way. But thank you guys for both sharing. Oh God, you guys, I cannot. Okay. So Maxwell says to her, are you sure God really wants us to be married? And that sets her off as well. She gets mad, and she doesn't like that he's questioning her. And here's what's so interesting to me. She gets mad because he's now speaking up for himself and giving his opinion on the relationship. And she feels like he's questioning her, which in turn is questioning God. That's what she said, Abby.
I mean, it's true because she is her own God.
That part. That's it. Thank you for saying it, because that's it. That's it. That's it. That's all. They are in the market. She sees an outfit that she likes. It's technically 25 US dollars, and Maxwell negotiates down to like 1750. And she's embarrassed that he's doing that, but that's exactly what you do. First of all, let me give you the 411 about the markets in Africa. First of all, they're going to see you as a foreigner. They know you don't speak the language, so automatically the price is going to go up tenfold. Just automatically, just on GP alone. Even as a citizen there, they're going to try to finagle, because that's what you do. So yes, always negotiate, never pay whatever the price is. That's part of the little dance that you do. It's not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not disrespectful. It's expected. That's it.
Can I tell you something I know you're going to hate?
Yes.
I don't haggle in markets. When I go to a market, the last place that I went was India. And then before that, Morocco for market shopping. When they tell me a price, I feel like it's rude for me, an American, to argue the difference between $3 and $5. It makes no difference to me. So why should I argue with someone who's just trying to feed their family the difference between $5 and I'm just not. In fact, I was embarrassed when I was in India and there were other people in our group that were haggling over these little rinky-dink little toys. Like, what are you buying that for in the first place? Anyway, whatever. These little toys that the kids are selling. You're haggling with children over these little toys. If you don't give them that friggin' dollar.
I love that for everyone. Invite Abby to every market. That's what I'll do. Invite her to every market. I love that for you. And I hope that wherever you are in the world, that Abby shows up and brings all her friends to the market. I love that.
I also don't buy a lot of trinkets. So if I see like an item that I really want, and it's usually going to be like something for I show you guys what I have right here. I brought this from Vietnam. I love it.
Pretty.
Usually I'm buying something for my kitchen. That's why I have all this stuff right here. I got these in Italy.
What is that?
It's an espresso set.
Oh, I can't see it, but I like
You can't see it good?
Closer. Oh yeah, cute. Okay.
The espresso set?
Yeah.
I got this from Peru. So like I'm usually buying something for my kitchen that I really want. I'm not haggling over the price of this stuff.
And again, I love that for anyone that is any market that you show up for. I'm just telling people who have not traveled that if you are in a market, it's expected as part of it. You know, just don't be rude about it. And if it's not for you and you don't want to do all that, then don't. But it's not considered disrespectful. We flash back to the moms. First of all, how old is Juliet, Aisha's mom? How old is she?
I don't remember them saying how old she was.
Okay, so it's Maria, Juliet, and Clement, the dad. And they have a quick tete-a-tete about the children. And the takeaway here is Maxwell's parents don't appreciate that Aisha is trying to change everything about their son, his face, his eyes. The dad says, you know, he should be able to live natural the way God created him. And the mom, again, Maria, talks about she's worried that Aisha is not going to be able to submit to her man. and that she's used to making money and being the breadwinner in the family. And is she going to be able to acclimate to a different way of life? And then I guess the mom and dad didn't know that Isha was 38, and they went on a whole thing that I just okay. So first of all, Juliet stands up for her daughter and says, you know, yes, my daughter's 38, but she could have been married a long time ago. Maria took the 38 and ran with it. The dad friggin' joined her, and they handed the baton back and forth to each other and basically said that no woman should be married after 30. 30 is the maximum. You should be married by then. You know, maximum 35. If you try to get married at 38, it's way too old. You're not going to be able to take care of your children at that age. 38, you're getting menopause, or menopause is knocking, dad said this, menopause is knocking at your door. And basically the mom said, absolutely not. My son is not marrying. She's saying this to camera. It's not marrying. Aisha's not marrying my son, and my son is going to have to obey mama. So there's there's a lot to unpack there. I'm not going to unpack it. But it doesn't make sense to me. Like, are you obeying the man or are you obeying the mom? You can't have children at 35. You're too old to get married at 38. But yet your children live in a multi-generational household and they stay there until they get married. And your son is what, almost 30, and he's still living at the, like, there's a lot to unpack. It's a lot of talk of obeying and submissive and money. Mm-hmm. Y'all need to have those conversations because, I mean, what?
Meanwhile, Aisha's at the market trying to pick something out for mom, and mom's like, oh, 38. No.
Yeah, these little stereotypes just drive me crazy. They really do. They really do. You know, it's just, oh, no, I'm not doing it today. Not today, friends, not today. Do you want to add anything else before I move on to, unfortunately, Shay and Annabelle?
Let's go, Shay and Annabelle.
Overall,
the unfortunate is correct. I think that Annabelle has enough information to get out of here. I don't know why she needs to gather more information, but yet here we are. That applies to a lot of people. Like, there's no more investigation you need to do. Just go ahead and leave, babe. Just walk out. Just leave. Unless there's something else that's keeping you there. There's something else you're trying to gain from that, which, you know, I'm not going to stop you from getting your money if that's what you're after. I'm not saying that's what she's after, but like, if there's something else you're after, then do what you got to do to survive. But if you're in love with someone and you're staying in the relationship for love, and you've had multiple different things happen to indicate that you can't trust that person, just go ahead and leave. Don't keep hunting for truth. The truth is the feeling that you can't trust them. That's it. Also, he's gross.
That's all I was going to say. And I'm glad you're reading my mind today, because then I just the first person that's saying, like, Shay's surprised. Like, what, 4 years of what? You clean his ass. Ew. He's surprised. He's surprised. Is he? I just no, absolutely not. None of this is okay with me. None of it. So I'm just going to run through this. They're meeting his daughter, Allison, at the grocery store. So it's Allison and her kids. And the reason that they're meeting Allison and the kids is because Allison's going to get the dad to buy the groceries. I mean, I caught that right off the bat. In the meantime, Annabelle is making Shay a smoothie instead of a beer for breakfast, which tells you all you need to know. He feels good. He likes the smoothies. He feels like in 2 weeks, he's lost some weight already and he feels better. And continue on that journey, Shay. Continue to not have beer for breakfast and see how far that takes you in your life. He likes the fact that ever since they had a spa day, he feels like Allison and Annabelle have bonded. I don't see exactly what he's seeing, but I mean, if he feels that way, great. I feel like it's more that Allison is tolerating and, excuse me, Annabelle is tolerating and Allison is manipulating. That's
Mhm.
what I see it. But um he's worried that his relationship with his daughter, which I also said earlier on in the season that that relationship is a little weird to me. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it's just a little like, to me. But he's worried that his relationship has suffered ever since he brought his fiance Annabelle over, and that his daughter doesn't like to feel second to anybody. And so the fact that he said that again solidifies for me that he really does enjoy the drama, because he doesn't care how it comes as long as he's the center of it. So even if it's toxic and maybe a little gross, he still likes being the center of attention. Natalie says if Annabelle placed her cards right and just wait a few more years, it looks like she isn't very far from the grave. What?
I think that Natalie is saying that Shay is not that far.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, because there's going to be an inheritance. That man does not have a will. There's going to be a fight over anything that he leaves.
And listen, Allison will fight Annabelle for all of it. For all of it. So they get to the grocery store. Allison brings up the fight that they had previously, and her dad's cheating, and says, are you guys doing okay, with a smirk, because she is a disturber and she
Mhm.
stir the pot, and she's one of those people that is a frenemy. She's smiling in your face, but she really does not want good for you at all. She's one of
Mm-mm.
the people, and that's how I feel she's treating Annabelle. And so for her to say all this, I just was like, oh, she literally is stirring the pot. So she goes on to say, have you called Nicole about getting her stuff out of the shed? Annabelle didn't know anything about this, and we know that Nicole's the ex that has been holding on to him, that he's been doing Lord knows what. And
Mhm.
Annabelle's like, I didn't know about this. And my note literally says again, Allison is a disturber. And then I also say Allison is evil. She's enjoying poking at them because she doesn't feel like she's number one anymore. Right? So
Mhm.
even though she's being friendly to Annabelle, she really doesn't want Annabelle there, because it's taking away from her being her dad's number one girl, which again is like a weird thing to me. You have any thoughts on this, Abby?
She's just a mean person. She's a liar too.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to share this information with Annabelle when it suits her, but then other times say, "Oh, he's a good guy. He's a good guy," talking about her dad. She's a liar.
100%. Silver Lining says he's the definition of the bars in hell.
I mean, literally. I mean, I the idea that she has to wash his butt because he can't wash himself properly, that means when you met him, he was stanky butt. She
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, I'll date you, but I have to be in charge of washing your ass." Excuse me.
Ugh, gross. Ugh.
Sit with it for a minute.
I'm trying to be on my best behavior today. So, uh, Allison is really enjoying stirring up the pot, and Annabelle asks Shay, "Hey, do you still love Nicole because of all of this stuff?" And he says no. So she's like, well, I want her stuff out of the shed and I want it out today, which I thought was a little extreme, Abby. Like, okay, calm down. Call her, but she's probably at work. Like, she's not going to just run over because you said so. Like, maybe like out by the end of the week or whatever. Like, let's be realistic. But no, she wants it now. So they finish grocery shopping. Shay indeed paid for all the groceries for him and his daughter and their children. You like how I said that?
And their children.
So funny. They go to the shed and Annabelle and Shay open it up, and really it's like nothing. It's like a table and a couch and some chairs. I thought it was like a whole apartment. Like, who cares about that? No one does. And that, like, no one. So Annabelle gets mad, like, call Nicole and tell her to come get that stuff right now. And so he goes and calls, and basically Nicole's like, just sell it and give me the money. I was like, oh, that is extra work. Like, no, you come get your stuff and you sell it. But he agrees to do it. He's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it. We find out that a few years ago, Annabelle and Shay almost broke up because he was always hanging out with Nicole. And Annabelle's just feeling like there's so many lies between not knowing about the storage and finding out that they're still hanging out. She's like, I don't know what to believe anymore. And so I laughed, you guys, when she called her own fiance a bee. Like, the full word said, Shay's a bee. It literally says LOL. Why are you there, Annabelle? Just go home. I mean, you're saying all the things that we're all thinking, and you're saying them out loud, and you're literally saying that you can't marry him. So why torture yourself anymore? Just go home. I bet your life is way better, and you don't have to clean anyone's dirty booty. But instead, she goes to Allison to talk about Nicole because she trusts that Allison is going to tell her the truth. And guess what? Allison says all the things, says that he doesn't want to let go of Nicole. And the last 4 years, they've been hanging out while you guys have been dating, but they spend time. And he's been lying to you for 4 years. He's been living a double life. He's engaged in the Philippines, but he's single in the US. All that she said to Annabelle. And so Annabelle's like, oh, well, have you seen them hold hands and kiss? And she's like, no, but I have seen him smack her butt and say, I love you and I'll always love you. You know, that's even worse than holding hands.
That's worse.
The emotional attachment of it all. I love you and I'll always love you. That's all I have. I mean, Annabelle, believe what you want to believe, but your gut is already telling you that this is a whole huge, big, nasty red flag. So, I mean, why?
He's already said that when you go down to the lake and things happen, that's not cheating. You don't really need to know anything else besides that to say this is not the life for me, unless you're okay with signing up for a life of someone who doesn't feel like monogamy is defined the same way that you define it.
Yep. Yep.
So,
yep.
You know, it's a choose your own adventure out here. That's what life is.
That is what life is. You are absolutely right. Do you want to add anything before we get to our last couple, Thomas and Paula?
Let's go, Thomas and Paula.
61 days to get married. I don't really get this couple, so I don't really have a lot on them. I don't get her little fascination, but it starts off with little utensils. So let me back up and say that he gave her a credit card and she's been buying stuff and sending it to the apartment. And one of the things she bought were these little utensils. And she says that the little utensils help her manifest a warm and cozy family that is making like food together. I know that some of you can explain it to me because I don't really get it. It seemed very like, you know, when your grandma had a whole cabinet of just knickknacks, and you're like, what are these
Yes.
like spoons from different countries and little knickknacky figurine things? Like that's what this seems like to me. And I just think it's like junky, but that's just me. Maybe there's way more in this manifestation stuff that I don't know about. But she also ordered a little couch that she says will help her manifest a real couch. Girl, why don't y'all just go and buy a real couch? Am I missing something, Abby?
I don't know. No, the only thing I can say is at least she has a visible vice. Because have you ever heard people say like if you meet someone and they don't have a visible vice, then they're doing something nefarious. So like
Mm-hmm.
at least she has a visible vice that you know, okay, that's her problem, and that's what I have to deal with up front. It's not going to be some secret problem.
Mm.
You know, like she has a visible thing that she's into. It makes her happy. It doesn't hurt anybody else. So that's just her jam.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take it. But there's a lot of visible vices. There's the littles, it's the rocks, it's the okay. Teach their own. She's ordering stuff with his credit card. He feels like she's abusing his trust. Again, did you guys have the talk about money? Because I mean, you give her a credit card, and if you didn't talk about money, then how is she abusing something when you didn't put any boundaries on it? Um, she made some friends, which I thought was really lovely since she's been there for about a month. Felix and Anderson are her neighbors. The I guess I don't know, someone introduced them. Yeah, the door guy, I think it was. Do you remember?
Mhm.
I think it was the door guy, but he introduced them because her neighbors are also Brazilian, which I thought was sweet because, you know, same, same. So she goes over to the apartment. Their apartment looks completely different than the apartment that her and Thomas live in. It's actually quite gorgeous. It's lovely. It's not huge, but they've done a lovely job with it. And she loves it as well. And she's like, we don't even have a couch. We don't have a table. We sit on yoga bricks for breakfast. Like the whole thing is totally, completely different. And I mean, it didn't even seem like it was the same building, y'all. I thought they were living in a dorm. Uh, and so she goes on to say that she doesn't want to come to America and live like she's a, and these are her words, like she's a homeless or feel like she's camping in her own apartment. We find out that she was married before and she knows what she doesn't want versus what she wants, which I think is very important, you guys. It's a very important thing that she's saying. This other thing she says is also important. She loves him, but she loves herself more. Now, some people can take that as if it is a selfish thing, but no, you need to love yourself first in order to attract the right type of love. Because here's what it's saying. If you love yourself, and you are okay with being who you are by yourself, then when someone comes into your life, you'll see if they're adding value and happiness to your life instead of drama and bringing you down in your life. So
Mhm.
when she says she loves him, which is an extension of self-love, but she loves herself more, it's very important, right? Because especially if you get into something toxic, you'll recognize it's toxic because you love yourself that much. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to recognize it's toxic. And unfortunately, you probably be in a situation that's toxic for too long, or dare I say, terribly in some type of crazy DV situation, whether it's emotional, physical, or financial. So loving yourself first is important.
Yes.
Um, she goes on to say that not only does she want to live like a homeless, but she doesn't want to live like a refugee in her own apartment. She's wrong for that, but I get what she's saying.
Yeah, I understood what her point was. Like she's like we don't have to live like we are being scrappy. We don't have to live like that.
Yep. And more importantly, why does he want to live like that? Talk about that.
I don't
Y'all-
understand. And apparently he made an agreement before she came back this time, because she actually does have a visitor's visa. She was able to come and visit with him multiple times before they decided to get engaged. And this last time that she visited, he promised that he was going to buy furniture when it was time for her to move back, and he didn't do that. So there's a. Can you hear that?
Yeah, what was that? Was that lightning?
I think it was lightning that or thunder. That was really loud.
It was really loud.
That was crazy. But so there's a promise that was broken. It's not just like she's arrived at his apartment and she's being demanding. There was actually like a promise made about this furniture that was broken.
Agreed. And I saw a little bit of the clip for next week. And for her to say, like, I don't want to have to beg for furniture. Yeah, you guys already agreed. This is an agreement. You broke the agreement. So, like, why are we even having this conversation?
That's crazy. It's not even raining.
Becca says, this couple reminds me of Greta and 90 Day UK. You're not far off. You're not far off, Becca. That's all I have, you guys. And we're catching up. That's it.
Yep.
Thank you for being in the live chat. If you're watching the replay, definitely leave some comments. I saw your comments from our the last resort. You guys are funny. Shout out to whoever said American food. They see Rebecca making hot pockets. It tickled me pink. I was like, that is really good. That is really, really good. So next time, don't forget to like and subscribe. Head over to, I'm about to drop a bunch of great red carpet stuff, you guys. Really cool interviews. So head over to my Instagram, lindaissogirlie. Also head over to Abby's Instagram. She's doing a bunch of great stuff over there. Lifestyle stuff that you are going to love. So check us out. Until we see you next time. Toodaloo.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo, Kimanu.